Welcome back, guys. Episode 41, Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. I'm Colleen Lindberg. And for those of you guys new to my world, welcome to this space of time. This is the podcast literally where we speak truth about all different kinds of dynamics. And a lot of the work I do is in the spiritual evolution and movement side of spirituality. And it does tap in through all the conversations, whether it's my solo episodes every week or my weekly episodes with guests. We all touch it in some way, shape, or form. But this podcast literally is about truth and owning our sovereignty and stepping into the space. And today's podcast episode is also in that vibrational alignment. But we are talking today about the vibration of choice and our vibration to be able to step into our divinity and step into our birthrights and literally move energy through so that we can collapse time. We can literally step into this difference we're meant to make in the world, and we can actually change the mechanisms in which we've been playing in our life. A lot of us have been playing small, and you can own that in all different degrees. Like you've been conforming yourself to a certain level of income, or you've been sacrificing yourself in relationships, or you've been literally diminishing your health because of the choices you've been making. And I'm not here to judge because, guys, I've been through all of this dynamic in all different ways of my life. And I made a choice a while ago, but I solidified the choice this weekend in my field of awareness as to I will no longer be sacrificing myself and no longer be playing in mediocre life. And I talk about it through the podcast today. I talk about that level of choice. I give you some information too on what's happening in the collective of energy and what we're moving through right now in order for us to hold this and feel this. And even if you watch this or listen to this podcast like 5 months down the road from the date that it was launched, this is relevant for you in your world right now. So everything shows up in our divine timing. So if you're listening to this today, whenever today is, this was created for you because you were inclined to be here today with me. You were inclined to put it on your ear, to listen to it while you drive, while you walk, while you work, while you're in it. And I just hope, like every single time I record, that the message you need to hear today comes through your ears and you feel it vibrationally so that you can make a choice in whatever dynamic of your life that you are desiring to make a change, to move stuff through, to enable yourself to actually see the vibrancy in you and to see that you are a powerful being of light. So without further ado, episode 41, Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. Let's go get it. Well, let's go, everybody. And let's get this moving into a new episode, Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. And I'm just like in the zone today. And this morning when I dropped in, I was like, what do you desire me to speak about today? And meaning me talking to my guides, my higher self, the collective energy in the world. Like what is really needed at this moment of time for us to feel, move through, understand, or really take like a root inside of an energetic capacity. And today the message is going to come in about the vision we have for our lives, but also to like that grit energy that's needed right now for us to move through. So in the collective, let me give you guys some context to this. In the collective, we are at a pivotal point of choice. And what I mean by that is that we get to choose. Wow, this is a big one. Yawning through this experience at this moment of time. We get to choose how our life is dictated. Okay, and let me explain this a little bit. So all of us, every single person on this earth experience in their bodies, in their human world, have choices, every single one of us. We are in a free will dynamic here on earth. We get to choose how life shows up for us. Now, granted, we do from a soul level bring in different pillars and learnings and experiences, right? We know this to be true. And if you're brand new to this podcast and you've never heard me say that, I've recorded multiple episodes in connection with that all the way through up until this episode. So go back, take a look at some of the previous episodes, but also feel this in your heart. We are here for a reason. And we know this to be true. We know that this is a thing, okay? We know that this is something that's moving through the collective. And we know that we choose certain experiences to go through, to learn through, to grow through, to embed the learning, to be able to take it and go, great, I got this one. I'm moving through this. This is amazing. And we continue on. It doesn't mean that the experience is always amazing when we're going through it because of the dynamics of its, duality, because of the shadow work, because of the shit shows, all the things that we get to go through in these beautiful experiences, but it is an experience. Okay. So I'm not diluting the traumas people go through. I'm not diluting any of the emotional pain and all of the heaviness in our life, the choices, the movement of that through. I'm not diluting anything that you guys have felt. Okay. Like, I'm not coming up here to say, oh my God, it must have been so easy for you to go through that. That's not what I'm saying. In this perspective of us stepping into this space and really understanding and learning, when we are in awareness, it gets easier for us to be able to move through this, for us to be able to understand it, for us to be able to hold it. And it doesn't mean that the physical form isn't going to take the beating. It just means that we can understand it better, to move through it quicker, to heal faster, to understand, to drop in more compassion, or whatever it is that we are being called to do. Right. So we have this experience. Now, what's happening right now in the collective is that each person is coming up against a choice, and a choice inside of their field of awareness to move through something, to choose as a human to go there, to choose as a human to have abundance, to choose as a human to work within divine light, to choose as a human to move through all these experiences and all this conformity and come out the other side free and liberated anyways. We're up against a choice. So because we live in a free will energy, we have a choice every single day when we wake up to lean into divineness, divine love, divine flow, divine light, divine abundance, divine compassion, all the divines. Or we have a choice to move over here in the less vibration. And some days we're really good at moving into divineness, and other days we're really good at moving to the other side of the spectrum, right? And we have polarity in the earth. This is a thing, like, this is an actual thing on earth, the polarity inside of this space, that when there's a light, there is also a dark. And I don't make up this in physics. This is an actual scientific thing, but it's also a principle law that moves through the energy of the universal plane. It's a principle. It's been integrated in on purpose. There's key principles that move through the earth plane. And I once taught a program on this. It'll be coming back again near the latter part of this year, just because of the fact of how potent it is to understand this duality or this movement in the world, and all 12 of them, and how they play out in our space of choice, right? So we have this free will. We have this calling we're moving through. We have these lessons that we're moving within. But inside of this space is a choice to no longer accept the things in your life that no longer vibrate within you. No longer accept that you're fucking broke. No longer accepting the fact that you have to, literally sacrifice yourself in your job. No longer no longer accept that you will carry that weight on your body that is inhibiting your health. You'll no longer accept living a mediocre life. You'll no longer accept, having that okay relationship in your world. And for some of you, this is going to be fucking rooted. Like, this is like deep down, dark within. I made a decision the other day, and I've been working alongside this, that I will no longer accept the mediocre space that I've been playing in all ways. Like, I live a pretty cool life. Like, if for those of you guys watching the video, you guys can see my background. Like, I'm in Costa Rica. I made a choice last year to move here, to sell stuff, to give all it up in Canada and move to Costa Rica to live in a whole different country, in a whole different experience, in a whole different way. Like, this is a whole different vibration, beach walks and yoga out under the jungle, and, ayahuasca experiences, and getting reconnected with my indigenous roots and my tribal energy. Like, this whole experience has been completely different than anything I've ever known. But it takes grit to live here. It takes movement. It takes a choice. There's still a lot of dynamics that need to move through my world for this to become permanent, and for me to be protected by the Costa Rican land. And that's a whole other podcast that I will definitely lean into at one point in time, to talk about the freedom and liberation of sovereignty. But I chose to move here. I chose every day to be here. I choose to be in the space, even when I can't take money out from the ATM, even when transfers don't come through, even when we wake up to pouring rain because we're in rain season, even when, there's no power for half a day, even when they just turn off the water and don't tell us that we're not going to have water for a day. Like, even all these things. And even though I have to check out every 3 months, and even though I have to do this and do that and do this and do that, even though I make a choice to stay here. And the choice I made over the weekend, literally for this next level of my life is like, I have decided that I will no longer play in this field that I've been playing in, of this mediocrity, of this half in, of this I think I might be in all of this space of, and I'm fucking tired today coming on to record this podcast, but I made this choice and I will continue to step into this knowing that this is in me and I can collapse time around what is in me. If it's already here inside of me, I see it and I can feel it. It's already done in the vibrational energy of the universe. So my job is to collapse time and bring it in. What needs to happen for me to be able to hold this, to be in this, to be with it? What does this human need to do in order for this choice that I made to move through me, to create in this energetic flow? Guys, I took on a new one-to-one coach with whom I start working with today. So today is the Monday before the podcast launch. You may hear this in 3 months' time. Seriously, I am ready. And this is a 24-year-old man who sold his company for multi-millions of dollars back a couple years ago. Like, this guy and he doesn't have social media presence. He's not known in the industry because he plays under the radar. And he only takes on clients that are connected to him through referrals. And I love that, by the way. I take a deep breath as I breathe this into you right now, saying, this is a big investment for me, an investment of time, an investment of focus, an investment of potency, and not even including the investment of money. But I already know that my body's in goosebumps, where I need to move with this. And I have to step in now to this space. We do weekly calls, and I am going to be accountable in this energy field of this expansion. His specialty is scaling businesses. And I know how to scale. I do, to the degrees that I'm working within, but I need to automate some stuff. I need to step in into this full potency. I need someone else also looking at some dynamics of my world to help me fine tune. My job is the energy, and I can hold that, and I can hold the programs, and I can teach them and move it through. But I want, instead of 10 people, I want 100 people in programs. I want to make that much of an impact, right? I want to step into that space. And when my book launches next year, I want to be able to have that moving through where we can get to number one in a day because of the fact that I'm paying attention, right? And I'm doing things in this movement of time, but I have to make a choice. Who is Colleen and how does she collapse time in this space? I have to fucking choose every day. I go to the gym, I take my supplementation, I move my body every single day. I do my meditations, I set my intentions. I have a new protection team in my energetic field that dropped in yesterday. I need to be doing clearing and protection protocols every day to make sure my energy is cleared. I'm going to do a whole podcast on protecting and clearing your energy. And in November, I believe, maybe it's October, November, my Protect Your Sovereignty program comes out. And this is one on protecting energetics and literally leaning into energy and flowing through energy. And how do you yourself understand protection and your protocols inside of here? Because each one of us, guys, is unique in our own blueprint. And if you are copying somebody else's blueprint, you are not vibrating in your uniqueness. You are not stepping in fully into your capacity of the movement you're meant to create here on earth. You aren't. If you are copying someone else in their business structures, in how you show up, in your clearing protocols, like, there may be pieces that you need to integrate that make sense for you, but most of us have been trained and taught to follow someone else. That's our whole mechanism. The whole school system taught us that as kids. Follow me. I know the path. Follow me. Listen to me. I know the information. I am right. And it was embedded in us, not to think for ourselves, not to feel for ourselves, but to listen to other people. So even in the way we show up in clearing our energy, protecting our energy, building our businesses, stepping into this space, doing life, most of us are conditioned right now to do it like others, to step in like others, to move it like others. That's just how we've been built. So in this aspect of choice and stepping in to choose, this is going to start to show up in all different ways of your life. Where are you done limiting yourself in your world, that you are finally making a choice that you will no longer accept it? It's finite. The line's been put through cement, never mind the fucking sand, right? It's like, boom, this is happening. I taught a masterclass last month about reclaiming. Boom, here's the stake. I am reclaiming this life that I desire to live, this person that I am. I am stepping in and reclaiming it. Where is your line in the cement that you will no longer go backwards anymore? And even when the scarcity energy shows up, and even when your bank account says minus 500, and even when your relationship, the man turns into the exact guy that you desire because of the fact that he's fighting now in the space of time, and even when you'll see through all of the illusions and remember the reclaiming energy of your choice to say, I no longer belong there. If we are chasing anything in life, if we're chasing clients, programs, if we're chasing people, we're chasing money in some way, shape, or form. And I have been here and still am in this space to the degree that I'm working within now, because I want to expand and invest more money. I want to buy a house here. I want to do buy a vehicle even. And it's still going to take me a bit of chase to get to that level and that point of time. And I'm like, I no longer accept being fucking broke in my world. Now, am I broke to somebody who is completely broke? No. But if I can't vibrate in a flow of energy where I want to invest something immediately and I have to not do blah, 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 I am still broke. If I have to move money, if I have to wait for something to drop in, if I have to do this or launch that, I am broke still. I'm not in I make 5 figures a month, guys. Easily, I make 5 figures a month. That is not hard for me to do. It's something that moves through my energy field every single month and has for a long time. But it's not getting me to where I know that I'm meant to be and the impact that I'm meant to make and the desired life I'm meant to live. I'm sort of in it, sort of, right? So I am in this space of time now where I'm going, fuck that shit. I am no longer playing in that capacity, playing in that role, moving through that energy field, moving in that space of time. I am claiming right now the multi-million-dollar energy that's going to drop in. And I'm collapsing time in the next 74 days to be able to bring in this next level, not through my mind and thinking about how, but through my energetic soul capacity to follow the lead and trust and surrender and to do the work around it. What is needed? You need to meditate. You need to visualize this every single day. You need to be on this. You need to do this and stepping into that. And that's the actual work. Because then when that drops in and it goes, you need to go here, I go there. You need to go here, I go here. And moving that through and the energetic capacity to hold it. That's what's moving through my field. So I jump on today to remind you of a couple things: choice and the vision of your life. What are you choosing every single day? And what are you willing now to make a choice on to never go back? And are you willing to do the work to hold it? Because that's the real key, right? Yeah, we can make a choice and be all in, but there's work attached to that as well. There's work, meaning that we've got to focus on it, or we've got to move stuff through, or we've got to change our habits in the way we step into that. We've got to make changes in the way we speak to ourselves or the way we speak to the universal world or whatever that is, right? We've got to make a decision to make a choice, and not a half-ass choice and not a half-in choice, and not I think I might be in choice, and all in. Fuck, let's go. Let's move this through. This is happening choice. Then it's that vision. What is the life you actually desire? And some of you have been in programs of mine that are listening to this, and some of you have been in master classes of mine before, and you know this to be a thing that I talk about often. What are you creating in life? What does the vision look like? What does it feel like in your body? How are you moving this through into the collective of energy? How is this showing up for you? What does it feel like to live the life you actually desire? And it's not about setting more goals or achieving more things. It's about you being the being, fully being that being that attracts that vision into your world. Most of us get it wrong. We think we have to do more. We've got to step into be ourselves in the purity of our light to then attract the aligned action to move it through. And it's like an oxymoron almost. Most of us have been taught to not fucking do this shit, to not be fully who we are, to not express ourselves, to stay diminished, to stay in this dynamic. You guys know this. I've spoken about this forever. But it's time that we lean into this choice and be reminded that we have free will to change the game anytime we want. And divinity and divine aspects of us, our divineness, our connection to a divine abundance is our fucking birthright. It's not something that you have to create inside of you. It is already yours. You just need to remember that that is truth and then step in to back it up with all the things that you need to move through, because your mind has been fucking you up forever. And we know this to be true because the thoughts that move through our mind have been conditioned by dynamics, by environments, by school systems, by parents, by our grandparents, by, you know, the whole mechanism, right? And our mind is what's leading us. When we drop into our heart and lead with who we are every single day of the week, the universe will support that. God, source, spirit, they support it because it's aligned within your soul. Your soul resides in your heart, right? It's aligned in your soul right here. But we get so fucked up in our mind most of the time thinking about, well, what is going to happen and how are we going to do this? I don't know how I'm creating 100K months. And you know what? I don't even care about the how. My job is to step into the impact of this. What the fuck does 100K months mean in my world? It means I'm serving more people. It means more people are expanding their light into the world. It means that people are getting over their shit because of the fact that they're working with me to move through into the power they're meant to hold so they can abolish the lives of mediocrity they think that they need to play within, and they can fucking take action and move. That's what I know. If I'm making 100K months, there's a fucking huge impact going on in the world. And I'm not talking about at $22 masterclasses. I'm talking about at like potency of one-to-one containers, of programs, of like integrated action. That's what I'm talking about. So if I'm making 100K months and that's dropping into my field, other people are making massive moves in their world because I wouldn't be able to be there without doing that work. So do you see what this feels like? And sometimes we play so small thinking, oh my God, I don't think I can say that to someone, or I don't think I can make that move, or I don't think I can da da da. Fuck the bullshit going on now. What are you choosing? What is your choice today? What are you no longer willing to accept in your life? What does that feel like? What does that look like? How does that show up? And God, it's time to grit in. Like I said, gritting in. The energy is getting dense. It's getting dense. This whole entire world is getting dense, right? It's fucking getting thick, especially up in Canada. Like you can't even get the news in Canada anymore. Like they're blocking you, but I don't even want anyone watching the news anyways, but still, like they are blocking so much shit, and the distortion moving through Canada right now is fucking thick. And guess what's also happening? It's trickling into the US, right? And then guess what's also happening? It's trickling into Mexico. That energy is getting dense. Our job right now is to fucking illuminate some shit. Take your sovereignty back. What does this mean for you? Make the choices so you can be free. Free from the restrictions of money flow, free from the restrictions of keeping your voice diminished, free from the relationships that are sucking you dry. Guys, we do not have to play within this conformity box that people are trying to put us in. The government, you know, whatever, like our parents, all the stupid bullshit. You get to choose right here, right now, today. What does this feel like? What does this look like for you? How does this moving through your energy field? How is this showing up? You get to choose. So I made these big choices over the weekend. I created a story at the end of September that I wrote in potency for these next 75 days of who I was when I started, which was yesterday, and who I became at the end, and what shifted in my world, what was created in my world, what experiences showed up in my world, and how they changed me. And that alone is like forward thinking energy, and is literally a conversation of literal movement of this owning this space. How 100K months going to drop in the month of September this year, I have no idea. But if I stay focused in the intentional work and in alignment and really get into my potent lane, this is possible. Because I checked it. I go, is this actually possible for me? Like, is this something that I'm actually just dreaming about? They're like, no, it's possible. It's already in your field. And I'm like, okay. Okay. I've been calling this in for a while, but wasn't willing to do all the work attached. I did some of the work. You know, I moved some of the things. You know, I'm in a bunch of different programs. I'm in a bunch of different coaching mentorship programs. I invest money every single month in things. Like I have over maybe $2,500 of payments that come out a month into growth, investment, programs, offers, memberships that I'm a part of, coaching. And I'm like, okay, Colleen, are you really all in? Like, I'm not talking about working fucking harder, guys. I'm talking about potency and alignment and fucking amplification. That's what I'm talking about. Are you really all in? How do you collapse this narrative in your life, Colleen? You amplify the fuck out of it. What does that mean? It means that I got to step in fully. Every day I've got the like the actions that need to move through my field. I know and understand what this is. I feel it in my body. I know that this can be called forth. And I'm like, okay, let's go. So let's go. So now where in your life do you need to make choices to move some shit through? Where? Where do you need to move it through? Where do you need to step in? What does this look like for you? And how do you hold this? It's time to go. And I feel like this collapses a lot of dynamics in some of your spaces, that you can feel this from this vibration that I'm bringing into you today. And I'm just grateful that I get to serve you this way, because I really feel that the more we do this, the more grit we have, meaning you're going to have some grit, because you're going to have to, it's not just about flowing in our femininity. For those of you that are feminine in this energy field, it's about really gritting into the masculine and making a choice every day till you collapse that choice. Meaning there'll become a time where it's a tipping point. It no longer is work, right? It's no longer work. But right now it's still work, because you're going to have to literally go through the mind fucks, reprogramming the brain, reprogramming the body, moving the energy through, trusting the narratives, taking action in the space. You're going to have to grit in. It's grit time right now, people. Grit, 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 grit. Once you move through that, everything else flows again. And then you get to the next level. Yay! All right. So I'm holding space for you all. Literally, I'm like breathing this into you. Take the actions necessary. Step into the space. Trust yourself as you move through. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Yay for us.